Okay, so in our unit testing, we discovered 5 issues that need to be resolved. Let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, so in this video, we're actually going to focus on cleaning up. So we have a few items that we found during unit testing, and that's, unit testing is the test that you do on yourself, by yourself, before you push it off to another team to test it and to your business users to use it. And through the videos, this is some 5 things that we found. So the first thing we need to do is fix the default for the comment list, and what that is, the default issue within comments. If you go here and edit an item and you put some text here, save it all, and then come to another item, hit edit, that same text value that you put in, though it's not saved for this particular item until you hit save, or unless you modify it or change it or what have you, this is the default text for that form. So we need to fix that piece. The other one is saving blank comments. So if you go again to an item, look at the list of comments, you will see some of these entries are blank. So we need to fix that. We only want to save the comments if there's actually a text value. So that's one thing we need to take a look at. The third one is these are not in ascending or descending order. Basically what we want is for any list of comment or comment history, the latest comment here at the top, and then kind of go in descending order. The fourth one is, if you look at this item here for the view field, when you have the comment tab selected, it's not being highlighted. Basic show is being shown as the active tab regardless of which tab that you're clicking on, and that's only for view. If you go into edit, these tabs are highlighting as expected, so there's no work there. But the view one we need to fix. And then the fifth one, the fifth item, this is more of a nice to have, and hopefully we can get through these quickly. We don't run into too many issues. But what we would like to do is to display the comment history right here at the bottom of the tab when you're in edit view, or when you're editing a request, right? So we have the comment history here in view mode. We would like to have the same comment history in edit mode. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So if we pop over here in PowerApps Studio, to fix the default comment issue, you actually have to use a special function called reset. And what we're going to do, we're going to put that on the edit screen. It's an event on the edit screen, on the screen component, that says when this is visible, you can execute a function. Now, what we want to do is, we have these group, and it's this text comment here. Let me just go into the comment tab, and it's this field, this text comment control here, that we want to they call it reset, right? So my first intuition was to bring up the text control, right, and then .value.text, and then set that equal to an empty string, and this does not work. It seems like there's I don't know if this property is read only or what have you, but anyway, this doesn't work. So the proper way to reset this is to use this reset function, and you can use this to reset any text value or any field value, really, or field control, and you just reset it there. And you do it for the entire control, not the value or the text property within the control. So the entire control needs to be reset. And what's going to happen is that every time this screen is loaded, it's going to reset that value, and that's going to prevent from previous used values in another item, whatever, which could be extremely confusing to the user from showing up by default. So that's going to handle that piece. Now, the other one is that we don't want to save blank comments. So that's the issue number 2. Now, to do that, we need to go into our SharePoint integration on the save event, to where we actually are writing out the patch function, right? That's to where we actually update the comment list. We want to put a conditional here. So what we want to do is, if, just put a condition in there, and test and see if this thing is blank, or yeah. So here's one thing to be aware of. is blank is empty. They seem like they're one and the same, right? Just, maybe if it's blank or if it's empty, you can use those interchangeably, but you can't. And the reason for that is that they're meant for two different types. So is blank is going to test out an actual value to see if the value is blank or the string value passed in is blank or not. Is empty is a collection test. So like if you were doing like a table, which they're used here. They use tables in other languages. We use arrays and stuff like that. So this is like if it's a collection, like if the gallery of dot items is empty, that collection, that's a collection test. So in our scenario, we want to use is blank. And what we want to pass in, the text, the comment control text field value, but we want to test against the actual text value, the value that's inside of it. So if it's blank, actually if it's not blank, and that's where you use this exclamation point, meaning that not, so if it's not blank, then do the actual patch or the update to the comment list, and so this condition check here will prevent empty comments from being added to the comment list for a particular item. Okay, and then the other one that we want to do is sort the comment history by recent, right? So here we just go back into our gallery, and here we have items set to this filter. There's a special function called sort by columns, and it's not intuitive on how you use this in the sense that which one you should do first, like if you should do the sort first or if you should do the filter first. I think you can use these interchangeably, but the way I have it set up, the way I have it working so far, just by running this video and testing this video out through our previous prep steps, is that we'll do the filter here, because what this is looking for is a source or a collection, and this filter function returns the collection after it's filtered, right? Which is probably a good way to sort this, maybe, I don't know. So really so the order of operation we have is that we're going to do the filter first. So it's more like what's done in the inner piece is done first, and then the outer piece is what's done second, or after, sequentially, from working your way from the inside out. That's what I'm trying to say. So really you have this filter, and then the second parameter, or the data source, the second parameter is which field you want to sort by, and this is going to be modified, so by modified date, and we want to do that in descending order. So the second parameter after you specify the field is which order do you want those to be sorted in. In our case, it's going to be descending. All right, so really just add that into the gallery, right, for the items property off the gallery, and then that's all set. And then the last one, not the last one, but the fourth one, and before we test it out, is that on this view on the view field, you have these two buttons that the field property is not working as expected. And right now we don't have any condition on the color, which is the background color or the field color for these buttons. So what we could do, we can go to our buttons on the edit screen where they actually are working correctly. Let me just take this basic button as an example, and then use the field property formula for that, and then just do the needed adjustments to make it work for the view field. So let me select the basic button here, and this is going to be condition. And actually the way this pasted in is correct. So if show tab 1, show the dark color, else show the light color. But for this guy, our comments button, what we want to do for the field property is do the exact same thing, but make one slight adjustment to our show tab 2, right? And that should work. So if I hold down my Alt key, I can test that out, and now this is working as expected. All right, so we made those 4 changes. Let's push it up, And let's test this out before we go and do our bonus change, which is to add the gallery to our comments tab. Alright, so let's push this up here. Everything is saved. Now let's take a look at it. First thing I want to do is hit refresh. It's going to be a lot of refreshing just to make sure this thing, all of our changes have been promoted and we're looking at the latest and greatest. So if I go here, click on this item, because see the tabs, it's not working yet. So I'm gonna hold down the control key, hit F5, and what I'm expecting is that when I click on this guy for it to be highlighted, and it's not. So my changes are not up there yet. I ran into this a couple of times, and I don't know why. Like sometimes you have to republish this. So, and in order to do a republish, you have to make a slight change, or else it detects there is no change, and you won't see the save button. So if you're trying to republish, just do a, even if it's make a change and undo that change just to get the save button. That's going to be your friend. So let me publish this up again. And I'm clicking on the link. So now I have multiple tabs open. That's fine. Click on the link, hit refresh. Clicking on the item, hit refresh. Now I think that's the biggest thing. So you want to just make sure like your basic changes are there. So there we go. So now that's highlighted. So now I'm confident that now I'm looking at the latest and greatest. But for some odd reason here lately, this thing's been getting stuck with publishing out to SharePoint and getting the latest and greatest. And that's important, or else what you would do, you will find yourself unraveling things that actually work, but it's just the refresh cycle of seeing your changes, and it can actually cost you a lot of time because you're undoing things that actually work. You just, the refresh is not showing the latest. Alright, so here we have comments field. We want to test this out. So if I put in the value here, save it, go to a different item, go into edit mode, and that's gone. So right, so that our reset seems to be working, right? So if I go here, hit comments, I can see that. Another change I can see is that my latest comments are at the top now versus being buried at the bottom. So now I have this sort order and all this other good stuff working as expected. So that's good. So let's just test that again. This, what I'm testing is the sort order, right? So everything's right here at the top and things look great. So we resolved the default comment issue. We resolved the sort item. The next thing we need to test is saving blank comment. So now this comment is blank. Let me go up here and make a simple change. Take all those 9s out, a few of those 5s, hit save. I can see the change here. Now if I go to the comment, I don't see a blank entry, which is good, right? My blank entry, since my change would be in here at the top. Now if I scroll through here, you will see the blank entries from when we, that fix wasn't in place yet. So I expect to see those. But now if I go here, put in the comment again, RE, whatever, click on this guy, hit comments. There, this is working as expected. This is looking good. All right, and then so we tested out the highlight issue, which is done, the default value issue, the sort issue, and then the blank entry issue. So okay, so all 4 of those are done. Now for the bonus one. The bonus one is on this edit tab. What we want to do is display the comment history right under this field. Oh, that says text. I should say comments. All right, so we can go back and fix that. So we found another issue. So let's fix the label for this guy. Hold down the Alt key, click, select on that. All right, so this should be comments. So let's fix that. Right. And the other thing we want to do is add the gallery here. Now, instead of rebuilding the gallery, which is something we can do, but why do it? This one here in the view mode is already set up. The sort order is right. The data source is right. It has the correct filters. The formatting and all this other good stuff is right. So let's just simply copy this, go down to our edit screen, and paste this in. Right. It's really that simple. So now this is paste. It pastes kind of awkward and weird. It's off center and all this other good stuff, which is fine for now. But the first thing we want to do is to make that part of our group comment, right? Because we have the visibility set in a way that this everything related to comments only show when the variable show tab 4 equals true. So if I hold down the control key, so I have my gallery component selected, my group component selected, hit this ellipse, and then hit group. Now what that's going to do, so let's adjust this. Now that we have everything grouped, let's go ahead and adjust our gallery in the right position. And it's really important that you're selecting the right component, or else things get nasty real quick. So I'm going to just select this guy here and put this gallery under the comment section. And I want to make sure that the gallery extends all the way down. And I'm kind of doing this blindly, right? Because all I have is this blank canvas. And, I can't really tell where all my field values are, where my separator is. So just be very careful. And what I'm doing is that I'm grabbing these bounding guides here. But I'm making sure that my gallery 1_1 is selected the whole time. So that way I don't inadvertently adjust the entire group when really I just want to adjust the gallery. Okay? Alright, so once that's set, now I want to double check my visible property. And I'm bringing all this up because these are the things that I got tripped up on when I was prepping for this video, where I brought the gallery in, and if you double check the visible property here, it's still going to be set to show tab 2, which is valid for the screen view but not valid for the edit view. Since the screen view only has 2 tabs, the edit view has 4. So we need to change this to show tab 4. But here's the thing. We want to do that at the group level, not at the gallery component level, because whatever is inside this group is going to control the visibility property there unless you have inner overrides. And we don't need an override here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just go ahead and blank this out. And then I'm going to go to my group 1, and here the visible property is reset. So let's just go ahead and set this to show tab 4. And now everything else under it should be updated with show tab 4. Let me just confirm a few of these here. All right. And that's just, it's just the order of operation and keeping things, when you're setting properties and when you're adjusting things, you want to do it at the right level. And don't inadvertently create overrides when you really don't need them. So, we group these together for a reason, and that's because we just want to set the visible property at the group level and then have that propagate that value down to all the inner component levels. Okay? All right, so now we have that. I see one. I only see one separator, but that's fine. I'm not trusting what I see here in the PowerApps Studio. So I want to go ahead and push this up to SharePoint because that's the one that really matters. And we know that when dealing with the gallery and dealing with other components, you may see the effect in SharePoint Studio, but most of the time you're going to get the real effect once you push it up to SharePoint. All right, so now let's just test this out. It's not there yet. Let's just do some refreshing to make sure we have the latest here. And there we have it. So there we have our comment section here. Because we copied from the view, the sort order is there. The filtering should be there. We can test this out. Comment history. Comment tab history. Right, and just hit save here, then select this guy, go back into it, comment tab history is right there, it's refreshing as expected, and we are good to go. All right, so that's it. So I think we have a pretty decent functional form with comments and all this other good stuff. Obviously, we can go in here and probably, maybe there's too much white space here, so you can adjust those items. But those are all subjective and all about style and preference. So we're not going to get into that too much. But I think that's it for this series. That's how, again, that's how you add comments or really any other data field that, because we don't have append changes to text field feature available to us when we're customizing Power Apps or when we're creating Power App, Canvas app. These are some of the workarounds that you have to do. But I think there's is valuable because not only are we displaying data from an external list, but we also are writing data to an external list that's separate from our main list. In this scenario, the equipment to list, we're writing and reading data from the comments, and we're applying certain filters based on the current item. So with those concepts, you can actually go out there and build other pieces of information that may be related, and that may be a cool way to relate data from multiple SharePoint lists or data sources. All right, so that's it for this series. Again, any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section, and I'll reply back then. But until then, I'll see you in the next video. All right, take care.